Hi YouTubers, it's Evan again for today's video. So I want to talk about tobacco topics. Today's Tobacco Tuesday, like the Big Ass Cigar. I want to talk about can you be fired for using tobacco products. So this is going to be a little bit longer of a video than usual. I know my rambles are usually around like 1-2 minutes long, so this video might be more like 4 or 5 minutes long, but it's a very important subject. So, disclaimer right off the bat, I'm not a lawyer. So, I'm a paralegal myself, but I'm not giving legal advice. So, I'm not responsible if anything happens to you, so don't take this as legal advice, and don't take this as actual constructive legal advice. I'm just giving you information. Because that's what paralegals do, they give you information, not actual legal advice. So basically, I'm not a business lawyer, so the point is, don't take this as like, okay, Smoking Ass 77 is a lawyer. So, I know Philip Smith on Cigar Gang, that's Big Ass Cigars for Life, he's a lawyer. So, he is entitled to give legal advice, but I'm not. So, basically what I want to talk about right now, is it possible to be fired for using tobacco products? So you have tobacco products like cigarettes, cigars, pipe tobacco, chewing tobacco. Is it possible, e-cigs, to be fired for using tobacco for your job? So, and the answer is, it's a very complicated answer, but I'll give you the facts that I know. So, for example, here in Massachusetts, the answer is some jobs, you can be fired. For example, police officers and firefighters, it's a Massachusetts general law. They are not allowed to use tobacco products as of 1988. And the reason is because their job is high risk, and they are exempted from certain tax things. And basically, it's pretty much assumed if anything happens to them, it happened on the job. So, they are not allowed to smoke. They sign something saying, I promise you to use tobacco products. It's not very strictly enforced, but they can be fired on the spot for not using tobacco products. Also, certain hospitals, like nurses, doctors, that kind of stuff, they can be prohibited from using tobacco products. So, long story short, they can be prohibited from using tobacco products because they work in a very intensive environment because they're dealing with people who are very sick, people who have pneumonia, people who are cancer patients, cardiovascular patients, and so they have to be very careful because you could get somebody sick. And obviously the odor of smoke, while it is not as dangerous like blowing smoke in somebody's face, it is a dangerous environment. So you definitely want to be careful. And that's kind of understandable because police officers and firefighters have to be in very good shape, very buffed out, not creepy gym fetish material, but they have to be pretty good shape. So it is very, very pretty much assumed that police officer and firefighter has to be in perfect shape, and they have to be tobacco free. Also, nurses and doctors, nurse practitioners who work in hospitals have to be perfectly clean because they're working with people who are very, very sick. So, also some jobs like Indeed, Craigslist will just say, we're looking for a non-smoking candidate. So, they're just looking for somebody who is smoke-free. So, they're just looking for somebody who is perfectly smoke-free. And, it's just a company policy. It's companies have different policies, and it may be they don't want somebody having a cigarette break every 3 or 4 hours. They want somebody who can really sit down, commit to the work, and won't be antsy, shaky, and won't be like, I have to have a cigarette break every 3 or 4 hours. Also, some companies have a policy, well, if you want to smoke, that's fine, but we're not going to allow you to smoke anywhere on the campus. So, some companies just have a policy that our entire campus is tobacco-free. Many hospitals are like this. So, many hospitals here in Massachusetts and our states are just completely tobacco-free. So, what you do on your own time at home, that's a different story, because you're not around people, you're not hurting other people, obviously, and really a lot of people support just no smoking in public because of the dangers of secondhand smoke. So, some companies just have a policy saying no tobacco use on campus, but on your own time at home, that's a different story. So, long story short, I basically, in general, for Roche Bros, for example, that's a good example because I work at Roche Bros here in Massachusetts, and long story short, Roche Bros and our retail stores are very, in general, allow their employees to smoke. So, Roche Bros, you are not allowed to smoke anywhere in the building, and you have to smoke 15 feet away from the door. So, and many companies will also have that policy if you are allowed to smoke. I know somebody I knew, I'm not going to say the person's name, I know she used to say, yeah, I think you have to smoke 15 feet away from the door. That's a Massachusetts general law. So you have to be 15 feet or 30 feet away from the building. So it is definitely a Massachusetts thing. So other states are like, the entire campus is tobacco free, but what you do on your own time is different. Some states it's like, you can smoke, but you have to be 30, 40 feet away from the building. Many hospitals are completely tobacco-free. It depends a lot because, it's one thing to say, obviously this is not the 50s, 60s, and 70s where you can smoke inside at your desk, because that's putting people at risk. So, that's putting people at risk, and, it's kind of like, what you do on your own time, on your own property, at home, your own apartment, your own house, that's different. Because that's your own time, obviously if you get sick, that's your own business. So, but many, many companies will have different policies, and my best, just general information is, before you get hired, just read the details. So that's what I know about it. I'm not giving legal advice, not a lawyer, just giving general facts. So it is a very interesting topic because I know, for example, police officers and firefighters are definitely not allowed to smoke on the job or off the job. Some companies, it's a completely smoke-free campus. Some companies, it's 30 feet away from the door. Some companies, it's like 15 feet away from the door. Some companies will have like a smoking policy in the handbook, and you please, read the smoking policy in the handbook because it is very interesting. And also retail is interesting because retail in general, because it's less paid, it's good money. Retail is good money. It's a lot better money than it was, years and years ago. Retail, generally, you're allowed to smoke. So, again, not giving legal advice, but you get the point. So, very interesting subject, Big Ass Cigar for Life. Bye.